everyone, it's Scrappy Kathy, and it's another Mixed Media Frenzy. This time, we have yet another piece that is gorgeous, but kind of out of my comfort zone, and not exactly my style, and hard to figure out how on earth she got all that gorgeousness going on. But we're going to try. And I have a very different photo. She has a beautiful photo of her daughter kissing her while her husband kisses her pregnant tummy. And I have similar pictures to that of when Ava's mom was pregnant with her. But I've scrapped those a while back, and they're not recent. And I have a picture that I took just a couple days ago out in the garden. I sit outside our door. We live in the basement of my son's home, and there's a wheelchair ramp that goes up to the front yard, and I have a couple chairs there, and I sit there, and just as John and I always did, and there's a little chameleon shown here. I have no idea whether that's the same one that's been coming around all these years. I sincerely doubt it. May not even be the same one who was here today when I went out there. But whatever chameleon showed up, or squirrel, or chipmunk, or skink, or whatever, anything for that matter, John called him Bob. So the title of this page is going to be Bob. And I'm going to use this rather small photo showing Bob on the railing of the wheelchair ramp, and this pretty purple verbena that's in bloom. And there were lots more flowers kind of down here that were in the full scope of the photo, but I cropped it in so that, and I'm holding it off camera, I cropped it in so that you could see Bob better. So it's all about Bob, right? So I'm going to do, and I know I've already done a purple and green layout this week, I think, or at least in the last several days. But I'm going to do another one. And I have this die, which is a Hero Arts, I think it's called Fancy Dies. And it has these tropical leaves, and I've cut it out of this Vicky Bouton green and yellow polka dot, and also out of white. And I may use one or the other or both, not quite sure. And then this purple's gonna layer under there, but those are the dry layers. And at the moment I can't worry about dry layers because I gotta get the wet layers done. This is, you'll notice that right here is this beautiful kind of lacy, doily looking bit of texture paste. And it looks like there's some here and some here. So I'm going to do that. And the texture paste I'm using, I'm going to go with the green color. And because right there they've kind of used this dark purple there, and I've got so much of that yellowish green going on, I'm going to go with a dark green. It's Structure Paste by Viva Decor, and it's called Green Gold, number 703. And let me pull my little knife out. I'm going to do kind of maybe a 3/4 part of it, kind of leaving this, and that's going to determine where my photo goes. And then I'm going to do a little bit up at the top. This is a Paige Evans stencil. It's part of her stencil collection. I couldn't tell you what collection it goes with because she has mandalas in lots of collections. So I'm just gonna do this, and if it doesn't come out perfect, you know, we're gonna not mind that. I have, by the way, coated my paper. This is a Vicky Bouton Foundations mixed media paper, and it's very thick, and it will warp, but not nearly like regular cardstock would. And I coated it with some clear gesso, this Art Basics stuff there. And I let it dry before I started this. It didn't take too long, so I haven't done too much off camera. I'm just gonna go ahead and go around because I don't have a very large photo. I can make the photo cluster as big as I want by adding layers of cardstock behind it, but I really don't want to necessarily do that. So this structure paste I really love. It's glittery and has a kind of a sandy texture, and you can kind of hear that as it scrapes across. But the beauty of it is that it dries fairly quickly, and it doesn't get, at least in my experience using it before, I have several other colors that I have used fairly extensively. This one, I was surprised it wasn't dried out because I haven't opened this green in a while. Oh, I lifted the stencil, so that's probably not going to be good, but hopefully that's where the photo's going to go anyway. Anyway, in my experience with the other colors, it doesn't get the paper real wet. It dries, the material dries quickly, and it doesn't really mess with the paper too much. And my experience with Vicki Boutin texture paste is, and I'm going to wipe this crumb off kind of quickly. I'm going to have all kinds of mixed media drips and sequins and splatters and stuff, so a little bit like that wouldn't have mattered, but I'd just as soon be in control. Although with mixed media, are we ever in control? And isn't that the point? So, okay. Kind of scrape that off. Okay, I'm gonna release my hold on it, which is scary to do. I'm gonna get my tweezers and lift this up. Okay, there it is. Ooh, it's gorgeous. It's not perfect, but man, that's as perfect as I could have expected. So I'm going to make this one here a little bit lower on the page. And I'm just going to put the texture paste partly on this, and then I will arrange the embellishment clusters so that the missing parts don't show, or so that you don't miss the missing parts. Okay, gonna do the same kind of thing here and maybe scooch it up a bit so there isn't that much. I can probably sweep a little of this over. This is really coming out nice. And that's something that I will say about this Viva Decor structure paste. It works through stencils better than almost any other similar product that I've used. I am a fan also of the Bo Bunny glitter paste, which I've used a lot, so much so that I really need to replace a few colors because, that's one of the beauties of it. It comes in so many colors. Okay, now I've got to get this off of here, and I'm going to very carefully put this over here to dry, and I'm going to run quickly into the kitchen. I'll leave this for you to look at while I'm while I'm gone. I'm gonna run into the kitchen and get this in some water. I'm sorry I didn't bring anything to put it in. Okay, so hopefully I didn't ruin that, but I know where to get another one if I did. Okay, so I'm gonna now work on the photo cluster. Well, actually, I have some more wet work to do. Okay, I have these paper flowers from Paige Evans' Wonders collection. And I only have one purple one. I'm gonna try to spray these colors purple and these green. We'll see how that works out. And I'm using Diane Reevely's Fresh Lime, which isn't spraying, okay? So I'll use Fresh Lime in the shimmer spray, and we'll get a little bit different look. Okay, that really wet them up, and that's good. I want to put these aside, and I've got some stuff, and then I'm going to use what I just sprayed in here as my the other wet mixed media on the okay. So that's there. Let me come here and do this. Okay, I've got too many things, too many places, but if I get any of that green ink on my tablecloth, it'll match. So how's that? Okay, here is a piece of packaging from Vicki Bouton's. Okay, and there we go with some drips. I intended to do this and then let it drip. I'm kind of putting it all around but not on this, and then I can now kind of do that. That texture paste is almost dry in that short a period of time. So here's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take a wet baby wipe, and I'm going to kind of get this a little bit more and already the because it's the shimmer spray, it has begun to dry with that outline that really shows off that shimmer. I'm going to kind of blot this because we have some purple to put on here as well. And that should dry before we add the purple. Now, what I think I'm going to do here is take a piece of paper and just I'm kind of building a background there that kind of looks like it's coming down from the top. And and this will be the background for another page that I will do at some point. And this is behaving differently on the page because I don't have this page coated with gesso. There. Okay, I like that. And I can add a few more layers to pop that up a bit. Now, I'm going to clearly get rid of all the green on this because I'm switching to purple for the next batch of flowers. And we'll see what's going to happen there. So I'll put that off to the side. I won't add any purple to that, but I may do some purple on another page. Okay. What I want here for this purple is something a little bit different. So I want some softer packaging. I'm going to borrow the packaging from these thickers, and I'm going to cut a piece. And I might be able to smoosh it differently just to get a little bit different effect so it doesn't look like, you know, the exact same thing just in a different color. So, looking at the original here, I'm kind of gonna see if I can add some in some of these white spaces, and then I'll add some where there isn't any and kind of in with some white spaces. And it may cross paths with the green, and it may, let me get the flowers actually that I'm trying to color. It may cross paths with the green, and there may be some mud, but if you look at the original, it appears that there's a little bit of that, and I'm gonna add some black. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, so let me take these off and put those aside. Now, in addition to this shimmer spray, I have this handmade watercolor in purple from Little Rainbow Moon. It came in a Mind the Scrap kit. And I'm going to wet it with some water and kind of get it smooshed down onto here. And it has a little bit different kind of purple. And I did this the other day, and look at that kind of blend that you get there, and that shows when you transfer it to paper. Let me put this on the paper towel. Okay, so now I'm going to take my softer packaging. Where did it go? I did something with my softer packaging. It's right here. So now let's see what we can do here. I'm going to put some kind of around in there, and you can see that it is turning. It's because it's shimmery, it kind of looks a little like copper, and that is not bothering me at all. I'm going to get some inside, you know, like on the white inside the texture paste mandala there. Mandala. I'm always pronouncing that wrong. Okay, and I'm going to just really smoosh some around up here, and we'll see where that goes. I'm just gonna put a little bit there, and I need a big smirch of it kind of right here. And I'm gonna bring that up a bit. It's picking up some of the green, so even even when I get it just on white, it's kind of transferring a little brown, or I'm going to call it copper. Okay, this is truly a mess, but remember that a lot of it's going to be kind of covered up. And in the original, this kind of connects to that, and this connects to that visually, so it doesn't bother me. Now, I think I'm going to switch to a baby wipe. I'm going to pick up some of that on the baby wipe and kind of do this, and maybe pick up some of that. And it's looking, let me get a little more of the ink. It's kind of looking like you can't tell, and kind of what I was going for was so that you couldn't tell which layer went on first. And I truly could not tell which layer went on first. So I didn't know what I was doing, which is the case with every single video that you see me do. I like to think that part of my appeal is that I have no more idea what I'm doing than any of you do. And so we're just here to kind of figure it out together. And sometimes it goes terribly wrong. I will tell you that there's only been one time that it went so terribly wrong that I deleted the video and made another one. There were many times I should have done that, but didn't. Okay, so now I'm going to dry this ink because it is shimmery, and the shimmer gets shimmerier, and you get these pretty effects when you dry it. And I'm going to observe that the green isn't very green. So I may, when I add splatters, I'm going to add some cut grass to it. And I may just go ahead and do some of that now over the green, just to, and I may roll over that with the paper towel, just to get it dry so that I can work on it. I like just that little bit of change there. Okay, so now, while the flowers are drying, and I honestly don't know if they'll dry enough, I may kind of show you where they might go and then put them in later. Okay, so I had in mind that this layer would be back here, And let me put a layer of foam behind it. Got let me do it this way. And I'm going to have to put some liquid glue back here because everything's kind of wet. The texture paste is really turning out beautifully, though. That's good stuff. I don't know if any of you know the wonderful artist named Jen Starr. You might want to look her up. I think she doesn't post as much these days, but she taught a class that I took a long time ago, back when there were local scrapbook stores in the area. And she taught at one that actually is still in the area. And she was a designer for Viva Decor. And she, we did a class. One of the classes was with Diane Reevely Inks, which is where I started my obsession with those. So now, do I just go with this and put the photo on top of that? That's what that would kind of look like. And it somewhat replicates this kind of circle with the flowers on it, although I've got tropical leaves there. Or do I do this? I don't like that. Maybe I could do this on top of that, slightly offset, so that the green kind of shows through. And then this goes there. I like that. I think I'll do that. But what I'm going to do to both of them is I'm going to cut out this center leaf, and that will leave these free to overlap the photo. I think that might look cool. I wanted something, I wasn't sure when I got the die, back when I got it, if it cut individual tropical leaves, which I might have preferred, or if it kept them hooked together. And it kept them hooked together, but that's not saying I can't cut them out as individual leaves. And so I'm doing that. And then I'll leave this, I'll use this one that I'm cutting out elsewhere on this page, probably in one of the clusters. I'll use a green one in one cluster and the white one in the other. Okay, I'll have to trim that up a little bit, but that lets me kind of do it's not exactly the right size, and I was guessing at the size anyway, but what I can do is I can cut this one free from that, and I can cut this one free from here, and then they can go in. I think it'll accommodate that size. Okay, so now let me do the same thing here. I'm going to be a little less careful maybe with this one, because it's going to be underneath. I haven't done anything like this. Well, that's true. Like I said, that's true of pretty much everything. in the mixed media world. But I mean, I haven't layered, well, I guess in a class with Christina, I layered cut files. They were not as intricate as this. It was more of a, okay, so let's see how that works, and then I will, I'll layer both these leaves over, and I'll figure out, let's work with the photo first, and then I'll figure out how, I need to disengage that one like I did the white, and then I need to disengage here. Okay, so I'm not gonna glue those because the glue, I would use wet glue and it would be wet and it would move around. So let's see, I need to put the photo right side up. Okay, the only problem with that is, unless I tilt it, we lose the purple flower. So I'm going to tilt it, and now I'm going to put a piece of foam on the back, which is what I'll glue it down with. And it's kind of offset there. Get that straight. And then the photo is tilted. Okay, so we've got that. I've got these bits that I can use in the clusters. And I'm going to try to do these as quickly as possible. And it's going to leave me with a few little, a couple of little leaf sprig kind of things. And I'll put this white one over the purple part. And I'm where there's the coppery look, I will, that's kind of where we're gonna put a lot, cluster our embellishments, right? I have some flare, of course. And those flowers we sprayed. I'm sorry, I'm kind of making that a little more difficult than it needs to be. So that could kind of go there. Let's see. I roll them over so they would dry. I'm afraid these guys are going to be too wet to use before the end of this video. So I'm going to cluster other things around, and then I'll tuck some of these in, and I'll kind of show you. I've got these little fabric, they're satin flowers that I can lay in place, and then I can come back in and I can do the composition that way. I've got lavender ones and I've got white ones, and I have a pale green, so I can use some of those. And then I've also got these purple petaloo flowers, so let me just kind of start using some of those, kind of clustering some of those. I'm going to use some of the larger ones there, and I'm going to use my liquid glue, and then I will pick a, I have a flare that says explore, and that's kind of what the little guy is doing. So I thought I'd put this here, but I kind of want a purple thread nest for it. So I'm going to put it there. And I have to go buy some purple thread one of these days. But I'm going to put it there, and then I'll work the purple thread underneath here. So it will go, it'll get published without it, but I'm determined to do that because I think it would make this white flare stand out on that background. I don't know about you, but I am just loving these leaves kind of peeking over there. Yes. Okay, so let's go back to, I'm going to put some glue on my thing. I've got some stamps out, but I think I won't do any stamping until the end. I'm going to put this, actually right now I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to let this guy kind of come out that way. Whoops. Actually, it should go out the other way because I'm going to have this one kind of coming up, but that's okay. Let me put a flower here, which will kind of cover that's missing, and then I'll layer some other things. And these large purple flowers will be the anchor points for pretty much everything in those clusters. And I'm just going to do this guy. Kind of right there where the purple shows underneath it. Okay, and now I need to start building a very large cluster over here. And I'm going to actually, I'm going to put this flower right here. And then I'm going to search through my flares to see, come on. Okay, I have a whole collection of purple ones right here. I've got this one that has plus signs, and it's a nice dark purple. And I've got this grid. I've got that heart. I've got this one that has kind of the coppery look, so that we could tie that in. That one has some pink. There's a duck and some stars. There's a geotag. I've already kind of got a geotag right there. One that says family. There's another grid, and there's a duck. I could use the duck. I've used ducks anytime. There are ducks all over the neighborhood, and they're always in the garden. So I'm going to kind of put these here, and we'll see. I think I am going to go with this dark one right there where it sits, but I have to coax it out and get adhesive on it. Okay, let me push that aside. And it's going too far under. Okay, there, and there's that. And let me do this lighter colored flower that has a purple center. And I'm gonna kind of put that right there. And then I'm gonna pull in some of these. And let me see if there's any chance I can put one of these in there. If I can handle it with my tweezers, I should be able to. Okay, and it's got an adhesive dot underneath it. So now, let me put a green one in the mix. And I may end up having to use some liquid glue because the little adhesive dot got wet. I kind of oversprayed that one. But I'm happy that we can use it so I can kind of see how the composition is turning out. I'm going to use one with some white right here. Now up here, let's do, I'm going to put this kind of little purple one. I'm glad that they're usable and that I thought to handle them with tweezers. That's going to work out well, I think. Now here, I'm going to take a green one and kind of put it right there. Whoops. That's another one that's going to need glue. I guess I got the green ones a lot wetter. Okay, that little purple one's not sticking. You're probably cringing every time I do all of this, and I know it can't be the most fascinating thing to watch me putter around with glue. I need something right there, so I'm thinking that's where a little ducky can go, maybe, right there. And then I can do some other embellishing around there. No, I don't use liquid glue for that. Let me get my, I have to have dinner on this table by 8, and it is 7 right now, so I'm hoping for this to be done. I'm going to take one of these little flowers that's a pale green, almost yellow, I guess, but it has that green ribbon leaf on there. Kind of work that there. Kind of I want it up close. It's not getting the idea there that I need that up close. Okay, and I've got a couple other little things I could work in. This is a charm from the Wonders collection, and these are in colors that don't necessarily match what I have going on, but they provide a little bit of accent. And this one, if I nestle it in here on top of that purple, it'll kind of show. It's just a little bit of shimmer. Let me get a, I'm going to do this guy right there. So I've got 1, 2, 3. There's nothing that says I can't do more, right? So let me get my watercolor off to the side so that I don't lose track of it. I have been known to pick up trash from the table that actually contains, you know, something I wanted. And it's a mess. I will agree with you, it's a mess. I know some of you are saying, oh wow, that's a mess. and I see that. Let me get this green one to go in there next. I'm going to put it kind of right here. And then I'm going to put one of the little purple ones in here. Now the beautiful part of mixed media is when you've made a mess, it's kind of part of the process to cover it up. So I'm thinking I'm going to add another one of these green flowers there. And then I will get another one of these purple ones to go here. Now that kind of surrounding the, and I might trail some flowers down here. There are things trailing down the other one. I think their whole composition was a little bit higher on the page than mine, but I think we can do that. Okay. Some of these are shaped so that they tend to stick better. I'm going to reject that one and pull another one that will have a better ribbon bed, if you will. Okay, that seems to stay nicely. And I'm going to put this one, this little charm, on a piece of foam and kind of have it trailing down from there, which kind of brings you, it'll somewhat get rid of the big blotch there. I kind of like parts of that blotch. There's a lot about that blotch that I like, but it seems to kind of stick out a little like a sore thumb. So I kind of want to go on one side or the other of it. Okay, that seems to work. Now I've still got a bunch of these dark purple flowers that I can use. Let's get some of those out there. Let's start a little bit of a cluster kind of down going this way. And I will take one of the green flowers like I used there and kind of put it here. I'll have all these kind of trailing down a little bit. I'm going to put one of these dark purple ones up in that top cluster, kind of right there, and then I may do one of these enamel pieces. How about this pink one with a bird on it? Pink heart. And I can put something here. There's this kind of teal piece. And I've got some sequins too that, and I can maybe do one of these, this pink one, kind of right there as part of the trailing from there. I'm gonna put this white one with some stripes on it kind of here on this purple. I may take this tiny pink heart and put it on this piece of flare. Okay, I still have these purple flowers that I'm determined to use. So I'm thinking this could go right in here. It's gonna get that leaf purple, but I guess I can kind of prop it in under there. That gives me a spot right here. For another one of those. And I think I'm going to do a purple flower, well, maybe a pair of them here. Okay, I think I'm going to, that came off its little bed there, so. There we go. And then maybe another one right there. Is there, I could maybe use something. It seems like I need something right up here, but that's, I'm going to have to do that maybe with white ink splashes or little stampings or something. Something to kind of make that look a little more intentional. As you well know, none of this was intentional. So I'm going to add this flower kind of right over in here. Now, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a lavender one there and kind of offset it so it's not completely overlapping the ducky flare. Okay, so where does this guy go? I'm thinking we need it here. And then I can put something else there. I'll put this down here. And then I will get a flower with a white flower with the green leaves and kind of do it here. Okay, in looking at it, I have two more of these flowers, and I don't know at this point I'm just kind of crowding things on, but that's kind of what the original looks like. They're all crowded kind of up next to each other and pushing each other off to the side, so that, which adds more dimension when you do that. It kind of props them up. So I'm going to do that. My favorite thing of all of this is these leaves overlapping the photo, because they seem to point to the to Bob there. I gotta find a place to put my title too. I haven't done that. Okay, it's gonna go right here, kind of exactly where theirs went, I think. Okay, I've turned that over. I'm going to stamp. And I'm going to stamp in black. I think some black on here. I've got this little and you know me, stamping when I've already got dimensional elements, that, you know, kind of isn't necessarily the best thing. It's this little circle with dots all around it. And it's just a little accent that kind of gives you a sense of, I don't know, celebration almost. Like there's some, like a confetti sort of feel. And that's kind of what sequins do for me as well. I'm gonna kind of put the dots around some of the splotches there, and let me do a dot there and a dot here, and maybe kind of trail some up the page. There we go. Okay, now the other stamp I have is a leaf. And Lord knows we got leaves going on here. So I'm going to kind of do some leaf sprigs sort of falling, trailing out of the clusters. And kind of do here, and there's where I have some dimension that's and I thought I might do just a little bit there and there and there. Now that takes no inspiration from the original, actually. But with the theme of the layout, it kind of seems appropriate here. So here where there's kind of a mess up in the mixed media, a little stamping maybe kind of makes that less obvious. And I'm getting these little circles. The end of the stamp has got has gotten inked, and I'm placing it down wrong. So how not to stamp. Okay, well, let's see. We don't have anything there. I'm gonna maybe do a little cluster right there. Okay, now I have sequins I want to put on, and I might tie the locations of those in with some of the other small embellishments I've got. I also want to use everything from this page. So I'm going to tie some of these in with some of these stamped dots, like this little pink one here. That looks like it's exactly what that stamp is, except in this one. I might do this one tied in with that stamp. Let me put those aside. I won't use all of those. Okay, so I'm just going to start grabbing sequins and putting down splotches of glue in some places that the sequins might look nice. There. Come on. And this sequin mix is kind of a custom one from Trash, all mixed up, but it has green and purple in it. So and there's the occasional pink. I'm not doing very well getting those down. This little pink one I think would kind of add a nice bit of variety to the purple and green. But my tweezers have a little glue on them, and so they're not letting go of things very well. Okay, this is a mess right up in here, but I don't think there's anything I can do about it until I start splattering with white, and I will do that. Okay, so there's sequins there. I'm gonna put kind of a trail of sequins here. Not do them in a little triangular cluster like I did there. And we'll see what that looks like. I don't see any more purple ones in there. I have pulled them out, I guess, or most of them. There we have one. Okay. And then I want to have some up in here. But I don't want them to look like they just, like I put them there to hide that. But that's exactly what it's going to look like, right? So let's see what we have. I'm going to maybe start right here, tie it to this leaf, or the little circle stamp, tie it to the stamp, associate it with the stamp, and then kind of trail them down sort of this way. Let me see what color would be good there. I'm gonna go with this color. Oh, I've already got one of those. Let me see what we have here. I don't have one of those kind of matte things. I keep having to pour things out. Oh, there we go. The ones I'm trying to pick out are my most favorite ones, so they're popular. So they're so I thought maybe a little kind of thing of sequins. This isn't a very good bit of stamping, so I'm going to work up from there. And now I will pull this color green, the greenish yellow. John would laugh at me for doing such an intricate page for Bob the Lizard, but Bob gives me lots of comfort out there in the garden. When he shows up, I know he's looking for John, and the fact that he's there and comes to the same place. Now see, that's got something that's not letting it lay flat. So let me find one that might lay flat. Okay, there we go. That one works. Seems like I need one right there, and I'm gonna pull a kind of a clear-ish one to make it look like there's the black stamping and the purple blotch and this sequin that are all kind of a little visual triangle there. What else? What else do I need to do? Okay, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some black splatters and some white splatters. And I'm not sure how I'm going to exactly control these things. I'm going to do white splatters up around in here. And maybe, you know, in the other clusters, but I'm going to do a little black here. And I'm going to try to kind of control it down here, although I see a splat did get on the leaf. It's getting on some of the flowers, and that's okay. I may not need the white ones. I think I'm liking the look of the black in there with the black stamping. Do some here, right where the title's going to go. I need to especially do some right in here where I got that little kind of arch, the mist stamping. I misstamped. Okay, now we're done with that. Let's get the alphas. This should be easy. I need 2 B's and an O. Okay, and they're not going to be big, so I'm just going to kind of do it right here. And it's a green that we don't have anywhere else, and that's okay. These are glittery foam. And I don't have any journaling on this. I have journaled on another page about Bob the lizard. And so I'll just let this be kind of a companion page to that. And I'll leave it at that. Okay, so here it is. And like I said, I kind of like that. I kind of love that, actually. And this, that's a great die. Like I said, it's Hero Arts, and I think it's called Fancy Dies. I'm not sure what the particular name is, but it kind of evokes the idea of a tropical paradise, and there are no tropical plants shown in the photo, but I have some out there in certain places, and certainly the mood is all jumbled and all the colors, and including all the colors that Bob wants to turn himself. So happy Mixed Media Frenzy. This was fun. I don't think I need to put these flares, so that's some purple flares I have for another layout, and I'm happy with it. It's a bit of a mess, but you know, so is this one. It's a beautiful mess. Now, she's got some thread, and I don't have any thread on mine, but I do plan to kind of insert some under here. And you know, I don't think it needs to be purple. It could be black, right? Let's pull some black thread. Since I have all those other bits of black around there, why don't I do that? So again, you thought I was finished, and I'm adding more stuff. Okay, I'm going to put a glob of glue down there, and surely, well, you know what I'm going to do for that spot? I can actually do this, and I can kind of stick that there and let it kind of stick down. And that's the look I was kind of going for. It's kind of like what she's got going on in the original. So let me get, what did I do with my thread? Here it is. I'm going to do some right up in there. And I'll just kind of glue it down right here in between. It's not a bed for the flare, it's just kind of an accent bit. Let me get my, okay, and I just pulled it off. I have to get my popsicle stick, and it's not messy enough. Let me kind of twist it around and get it into a bunch. And look at my fingers. My fingers are evidence of, and I just had a manicure today. My fingers are evidence of having had fun in the craft room, right? Okay, so there, that gives us some thread there. And my other flare is here, so I'm not going to associate this thread with the flare. I'm just going to kind of put it up here and let it really untangle over that purple part that I don't like. Let's see. I'm going to, this guy is clogging up again, even though, but it's been sitting out in the air. And like I said, when it gets down low, it dries out quickly. So let me kind of dot it around there, and some of the thread will kind of stick, with the base kind of being right here. And when that dries, it'll hold the thread, and it kind of, okay, so now it's done. And thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate your patience. Bye.